Okay. We will call to order the Board of Commissioners meeting for the month of March, excuse me. We will have a stand, everyone will stand, we'll say the pledge, and then
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we come today, Lord, blessed beyond measure, Lord. We just praise you and give you thanks and give you glory for your blessings. Lord, we pray that this meeting, Lord, would be for the fulfillment of our county, our citizens, our state. Lord, we just ask you to bless our county. And Lord, give us great leadership, give us wisdom in our decisions. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Okay, first order of business is the approval of the minutes. They were sent out to us earlier. I know some of us have called in probably already. Is there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve the amendments as already corrected?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the minutes are approved as corrected. The next on the agenda is amendment adjustments, and we do have a couple of those that we need to add. Okay, on the old business, we need to add 9, the consideration for the stipend for the nursing home advisory committee. And 10, review and discussion of the customer service policy. Under 8, it's number 9, it says appointment. If we can change that to appointments, because we have to consider appointments to the Gates County Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee and Sunbury Volunteer Fire Department Firefighters Relief Fund. So we're just going to do all those under that one. So if you'll change that to appointments, and we'll handle all 3 under that one. Are there any all additions or adjustments to the minutes? Agenda. If not, do I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as adjusted?
So moved. Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, next we move to item 4, delegations, unannounced delegations. Has anyone signed up? Okay. Today, we're very fortunate to have Kathy Davison, Executive Director of the Alcohol Commission, to come before us. Thank you. This is our first time we've had you officially here.
Yes, it is, and it's a pleasure to be here and to be back in Gates. I have provided you a couple of items, but the first thing I would like to do is review the stewardship report, which is this form based on services that the Albemarle Commission has provided to Gates County. Not only your residents, but your businesses within the county. And reviewing our senior nutrition program over the last year for home delivered meals, we delivered 7,062 meals, and those are for individuals that are homebound and not able to get out to get to the congregate sites, and they also do not have a caregiver. And a lot of times, as you know, when someone delivers a meal, that may be the only contact the homebound individual has with the public. and it also serves as really a need with making sure that those individuals are able to get around, and if they don't answer their door when the volunteer comes to deliver their meal, we take every step possible to have someone double check that they're okay, they haven't fallen or injured themselves. And then our congregate meals, we've had 3,856 meals served for 68 individuals. Looking at and the county share for those meals is $27,400 and a very little cost for providing so many meals. Moving forward to our area agency on aging, over the last year, the senior nutrition and the area agency on aging have merged under one director, and we will be looking at moving the senior nutrition staff over to the regular Albemarle Commission staff to consolidate services and our efficiency further. But as you can see, between medical transportation, and what that is providing transportation to those that need to go to medical appointments. You have 1,438 units of service or trips to 20 clients. You have general transportation, those that need to get to the grocery store or run regular errands, but are not able to do so. These services, again, are provided through our AAA, but there's a caveat that you have to be 60 years old or older. And I was remiss in not mentioning that before. But 2,735 trips to 9 individuals. And then our in-home aid, this is providing nursing care or a certified nursing assistant in the home. You've had 3,651 hours of service to 21 residents. Your legal aid hours, you've had 23 hours of service for 13 clients or 13 residents. And a lot of times it's looking at powers of attorney, relationships with the nursing centers, or general legal advice. And then, most importantly, if you have to be a caregiver to a family member, it's very stressful and not only time-consuming, but stressful on your family and on yourself. And we provide respite services, and what those are providing someone to come into your home or allowing your family member to go to a convalescent center or a nursing center so you can get a break and recharge your batteries. And in order to be a good caregiver and one that can be responsive to the needs and stay healthy, respite services are so important. We've had 114 hours of service to 2 clients over the last year. And then the institutional, as I mentioned, the institutional respite services are those that a family member goes to an institution or a nursing home for a short period of time, and there's 456 hours of service to 4 clients. Again, a much needed service to our family caregivers. And then one of the things I'm most proud of that the senior service or the AAA does are our senior games. They're gearing up to have senior games again in the region, and we have 14 participants from Gates County. It's a great opportunity, and the sign-ups for seniors are ahead of schedule, and if you're interested in volunteering at events throughout the region, feel free to email or call Ashley Lamb in our office. So all of these services, the statutory match for the county is $15,814. So again, very little funds based on the services provided. One of the most exciting things that we're doing is really as your county manager knows, and working in workforce development, is truly supporting our local businesses and residents in order to get the education, to get the training that's needed. Currently, you have three different youth programs with 10 participants at no charge to the county. You have one of those participants that's training. They have, what we do is we have a match program that individual is able to get on-the-job training, and the workforce development pays 50% of that training, and that contract is $5,334. And then the incumbent worker training is if you have a business that needs to upgrade the skills of their current workers, we are able to do that. We do have one contract, and that is $8,959. Again, the workforce development is providing those funds, those trainings at no cost to the county, and it's a support to businesses. And along the lines of economic development, as we all know, workforce development is the key to economic development, because you can have as many vacant buildings or shovel-ready sites, but unless you have a workforce that is ready to work, that is trained, it's very difficult to attract businesses to not only the county but to the region. And in order to continue our support for business, the Albemarle Commission has the revolving loan fund, which you see in front of you. And if you, just as a brief overview of the revolving loan fund, it's support for existing and new businesses. We have a loan maximum of $100,000 per borrower, but we do have an opportunity to get a loan override from the Economic Development Administration that would waive that maximum amount, and the approximate minimum amount is $10,000. And with that $10,000, you have to guarantee that you're going to hire one full-time employee for every $10,000 borrowed. So if you know of small businesses that are interested or looking to come to the area, this is a program that's available. And through conversations with the Economic Development Administration last week, in the midst of, we weren't getting snow, but Atlanta was, they are in the process of making changes to the revolving loan program that would now allow municipalities and counties to borrow through the revolving loan fund if the project had an economic impact and was for infrastructure. A good example is if you had a business that needed to expand and provide fire suppression, and you needed to increase the volume of the water flowing to their building, you could have a low-interest loan through the revolving loan fund in order to expand that water line. And I think that's a good way to utilize the revolving loan fund and partner with our municipalities and counties. Again, as long as it has an economic impact, and for new businesses, old businesses that are looking to expand in the counties if they need infrastructure funds. So a component that has not been offered in the past. And again, looking at economic development and how we move forward in the region, we have our rural planning organization, as I'm sure you're aware of, and you passed a resolution a few meetings ago supporting the future designation of Route 17 and US 64 as a federal highway. I thank you for that. The region thanks you for that, because that is an important infrastructure component of our region. And the planning services is spearheading those advocacy efforts for our region. And you'll see that for very little expense on the county, it's $2,003 are what your dues are that are set by the Department of Transportation Division 1. And you receive an advocate and a planner for that expense. And as you know, having a full-time planning staff, it's not cheap. And that's one of the benefits of being a member of the Council of Government. And then looking at economic development, again, further economic development and planning administration. In December, we had the first regional strategic planning session with our county managers and our economic developers from the region. We had 100% participation from all 10 counties, and we're moving forward with an action plan to provide a clear-cut economic development, recognizing the uniqueness of our region and that we're not all the same. You can't have the same plan for 10 counties. We're actually broken down into 3 regions, and recognizing also that Gates County is a part of the Hampton Roads Metropolitan Statistical Area. And a lot of people don't recognize that. And we believe that is a strong point of Gates County. And because of that, we've created an advisory relationship with the Hampton Roads Planning District Commission, and continuing to foster those relationships not only in our region but also over the state line in the Hampton Roads. And I know you guys are just waiting to find out about the single family rehabilitation program. We have received notice from the state that a project from 2005 that you all know about has been closed on the state side. So we're hoping everything is closed and clarified on the county side, and we can move forward with the 2013 grants. Currently, you have one grant in operation for $120,000. And then obviously you have additional economic development opportunities and grant administration advocacy. Not only do I come to the counties and staff come to the counties, but we are working with our local and state legislatures and representatives, as well as our federal representatives, to make sure that the Albemarle region has a voice in the state and federal government. If you have been receiving an email from us on Monday morning, it's called the Albemarle Commission Monday Morning Briefing. It's an overview of everything that's going on in the region and at the commission, as well as grant opportunities and training opportunities for your staff. And the county share per capita at 65 cents, which has not increased since 2007, is $7,772. Looking at the overall view, you've received 19,343 units of service to 207 clients. You've also received funds through the workforce development grants and single family rehabilitation grants of $134,293. So if you break everything down, the county share of all of the services that we provide and you've received is $57,989. But if you look at the per unit cost, it's $2.74. So you receive a great deal for very little. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
I have one question about the area of aging,
Yes, sir.
the medical transportation and general transportation. Is that coordinated with GITS, or do you all provide separate transportation?
It's coordinated. Yes.
That was my question too.
Mine as well, so. But also I had another question as pertaining to the same area with the legal services.
Yes, sir.
Are there attorneys on staff, or do you have?
Our ombudsman has staff. We have an ombudsman representative that is the liaison between the nursing centers as well as the aging. And we don't particularly have staff. We have attorneys that we can call that accept the services, and we pay for their services directly.
And they do you by the hour?
I believe that is how it's done. I can double check on that though.
I also have a question about the medical transportation.
Yes, sir.
Are these, I see that there are 20 participants and then 9 participants in the general. Are these participants that, I know you said you were coordinated with GITS, but are these participants that were generated through you and you contacted GITS to make the transportation? Or, I mean, I know they're serving more than 29
that would use the service. I'm not sure. I know in some of the counties through nutrition programs or a request from a family member, there's services that are coordinated, and more than likely that's how most of the calls are generated, but I will verify that.
Anything else? Well, thank you so much. It's very informative, and the Albemarle Commission is certainly doing a great deal of work in our community and our region, and we appreciate your efforts.
Good, and I just wanted, just for your information on the backside is the historic look at how the population is changing. I'm not going to go through all the numbers, but to look at in 2013, the population in Gates County was 11,880, and it's projected through the North Carolina Division of Aging and Adult Services that population will decrease in the county overall by 5.1%, again by 2013, but you'll see the numbers in red. That's where your population actually is increasing, and the need for additional aging services and meals will be necessary for the residents in Gates County.
Do you want to mention the March meals mission?
Oh, absolutely. We actually, if you have not had the opportunity to participate in a Meals on Wheels delivery or the March for Meals, you can sign up to deliver a meal. It takes maybe an hour, one day, an hour, and you'll have an opportunity to deliver up to 3 meals. And it's so rewarding. I've done it 3 or 4 times to get out and also to volunteer, to feel rewarding of giving it back and to see the individuals that receive the meals and how beneficial it is to them and how appreciative they are to have a home delivered meal. And you can contact our office and speak with Laura Alvarico in our nutrition and aging program, and she'd be more than happy to schedule a time for you. Thank you, Natalie.
And I am going tomorrow. I'm riding shotgun with a lady who delivers meals.
Good,
And
good,
I call and verify.
good. I'm glad. So thank you again for having me here, and I look forward to continuing our relationship between the county and the Albemarle Commission.
And thank you once again for all the work you do.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Okay. We'll move on to administrative reports. County manager.
The report in your packet is for January 25th through February the 18th. The old courthouse, there were no changes as of February the 4th. However, there was a conference call between, that I was unable to attend due to illness between Ms. Hoffler and Melissa Lawrence with Mr. James Andreas, John Zellweger, and they discussed several options for the courthouse on the west wall. And as of yet, we have yet to receive any notification from Clearscapes as to what their design plans or ideas are for us to consider. The EIC building, the contract was signed to begin working on the drainage issue and the crawl space remediation, and work actually began this week, and they are hoping to finish their first round of work, hopefully today. There will be additional work that will need to be done, however, EIC will need, the EI group will need to come back and inspect the work before additional insulation is installed. As far as meetings, on February 2nd, I met with the Hall Ruritan Club and gave an update on the different projects going on within the county. On February the 3rd, Joe Harrell and I attended the Albemarle RC&D meeting. Kathy Davidson, Executive Director of the Albemarle Commission, spoke on why the Albemarle Commission would like to merge with Albemarle RC&D. The RC&D membership decided to further investigate this opportunity, and updates were given on various projects throughout the region. On February the 10th, Christy Crawford and I met with Pierce Group representatives to discuss the upcoming insurance enrollment period. And on February the 13th, the Northeast Economic Developers met in Ahoskie and learned about a new initiative from Roanoke Electric. Donna Phillips with the Economic Development Partners of North Carolina gave an overview of the role that EDPNC will play. Plans are being made for the top EDPNC officials to visit the Northeast in April. Do you have any questions?
Concerning the meeting with the insurance group, are we going to have a lot of any surprises coming up?
They will not begin receiving any quotes until this month. The main discussion was reviewing how things have been in the past, so Christy and I could become familiar with that. And then we also discussed how this year everyone will be required, as part of the new requirements, that everyone will need to meet with the council when they come for insurance sign-up, to say, yes, I accept the insurance, or I do not accept the insurance. That will be one slight change. In the past, that was optional, but that will be a requirement this year.
Did they give you, or have they presented any figures for?
No, that's coming in March or April.
Presented figures for, you have to finish my question.
Oh.
They present any figures for how much we paid out?
No, that was not what that meeting was about.
Not fair.
It was just giving us updates so we would become familiar with what's going to take place, since there was so many new staff. There was not a discussion of any figures for anything. That will be forthcoming.
That'll drive the increases response.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Finance and tax. We received the print out from Mrs. Lane. Mrs. Lane, would you like to come forward? You know your tax person always has to come.
Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. You did receive the collector's report for February for that. Any general or specific questions relating to that? As we go down, as we look from prior years, as we approach, our collection rate is, slightly up, and we're pleased about that. We've had some good response for those accounts that are paying some of the delinquent taxes, some of those old accounts that we don't hear anything from. We have had some good payments come through. I think not long ago we had a $10,000 payment for delinquent taxes that they owed about $13,000, and we're, Deputy Tax Collector Lloyd Chavis has worked with those individuals to set up payment plan to try to absorb the rest of that and have it paid by the latter part of March or April. So,
I believe when reading the minutes that you were going to have a meeting with the Travis Ellis group, and you're going to even meet with him.
yes, and that's not been officially set up yet. We hope to kind of meet in person, because as you can see on your report, as I scroll through some prior reports from prior years even, receiving the funds from Ellis had been slow in comparison to what we received from Zacchaeus. So we just want to have a face-to-face meeting, and certainly as we get the budget, line items submitted, I hope within this, after that time frame, we can kind of sit down, Lori Chavis and I make that trip to Edenton, kind of get a face-to-face meeting, because, that response. Those accounts, the Ellis does have those, or they are difficult title searches in defense of why we've not had any much response from that. They are some of the state properties, but in light of that, we'd still like to make a face-to-face contact and see where we are and see what we can do to kind of expedite some of this process on those accounts. So.
And speaking to another topic in the tax department, reval, how are we coming? Have we got that lined up when will that start?
It usually takes oftentimes about a year and a half based on volume of parcels to start in the county. So as we approach the end of 15, early 16, we want to start looking at those sales. This Friday, I've got a kind of an informal session with a contractor coming in to make some conversation to see where we are, to get some ideas. I've got some ideas that may work for the county in terms of absorbing some of that cost in-house. That is not to say that we would consume all the staff, dealing with the reval, but a portion of that, whether it's data entry or some level, could be absorbed within the tax office, and that portion of money could stay within the county. I think we're on good track. Like I said, Friday afternoon, we've got a kind of informal session with a contractor. Like I said, I feel pretty good about that. So
I just knew that it's coming up, and I know we got to have to get everything in line.
that's right, yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
On the report, I noticed that the automobile was right much lower. Is that anything to do with the new system?
It is, and that will continue to become lower as we approach. DMV has absorbed that role, of course, and that will continue to dwindle, if you will, as we no longer. The only thing we are concerned is those older bills that we may have blocks on, that they have to come through the tax office if a car has been parked and that we have blocks in place and nobody's paid. Now, that number will continue to rise, but this overall, this 21.81%, this number will continue to dwindle as we no longer, get those funds. So, yeah, that is correct. That number will get lower, as it should be. And if you look for what we get through the county, through what Sandy Pittman posts from the finance department, that 45,000 plus number is received through the county for the funds for DMV, for the county, and then, of course, the town, the line item. So, yeah.
Okay. Are you going to bring up the contract with Lynette?
I understand that was going to be debated in a closed session at a later point, but if I need to answer any questions at that point for closed session, I'll be willing to, yes.
At the top, the 2014 collected percentage of 92.5%.
Mm-hmm.
That is 92.5% of the total assessed that we've collected.
Mm-hmm.
I see here the levies are 180,702, interest is 5,384. And so the 92% is how much we have collected on the total assessed.
That is correct for that 14. And the way the spreadsheet is developed is we can look back through those prior years and see where we are in comparison. You often notice not much change from 2004, 2005 sometimes on those older bills, and sometimes we do have success in collecting some of those delinquent taxes. But yes, sir, that's correct.
My question then would be, where were we last year on our total assessed at this time? We're 92.5 now. I'm just wondering where we were. Were we at 95?
Last year this time, it looks like we were at total 85.48 as we look underneath for prior years based on the prior month. From February of 04, yes, sir, and that would be the total. Personal property, real estate included in that. So we're, making good progress. Like I said, I want to thank tax office staff, Shelley, Betty, Lori for all the hard work, trying to get some response. We will be advertising those delinquent taxes I'll mention, possibly next Wednesday. We're going to shoot for the Gatesville Index, and those delinquent names and accounts and amounts will be available the latter part of this week in the office. It's a rather lengthy report at times, so that'll be available for viewing, Friday morning when we pull those. That'll be, as general statutes remind us, to be posted in the paper, the Gatesville Index. So.
In trying to get that 92% to 100%, at this point, do we send out any letters leading up to the end of our fiscal year?
Continuously, letters, phone calls, you name it, any sort of communication we can have with that taxpayer to generate, even after the advertising in the paper, those letters and that contact method does not stop just because we've done due diligence. We feel advertising in the paper, those letters continue. We'll do another mass mailing as well for those accounts that are still unpaid, trying to elicit some response. Or we've been working with people with payment plans that are struggling for whatever reason. We've got more than a dozen of payment plans in place at the tax office. And we are seeing some good response from that. With working with folks. So that will continue, yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Lane.
Okay, thank you.
Continue your good work.
All right, thank you.
Okay, personnel report.
Do you have any questions?
But does Mrs. Gordon, has she hired someone?
No, that person, and that would be on the March report. The person should begin work on March 16th.
Okay, any other department reports?
Madam Chairman, while you bring that up, in response to Commissioner Owens' question and comment about kids, I noticed that Patrice is here, and I didn't know if she had anything she wanted to add to that question or not. Patrice?
In response to the question,
Yes, ma'am. I noticed that you had your eyebrows raised, so that's information.
It's pretty good eyes.
in response to the question, the clients for Albemarle Commission for Home and Community Block Care Grant, they are certified in our office, and it is a unit rate that we receive for them. So if there are further trips, they are charged to another elderly funding source. These are generally the non-participants or participants that go to the nutrition, and the other ones are clients that take the shorter medical trips.
I knew you were serving a whole lot more than 29.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been the classification.
Yeah.
And the general trips, as they pointed out, to like to shopping or to a meeting or whatever, what are the qualifications for those people to ride?
They actually just have to be 60 or over and not have it.
Don't drive or that.
Yeah. But we generally don't have a lot of, we don't use that funding source a lot for that. They're generally medical trips, unless they want to qualify for the other funding source.
And since you're up here, do you have anything to add to your report?
I don't.
It was very short this time.
Yes. I'll see y'all next month.
Thank you. Okay, some correspondence that we have received. We have up here I guess it's a thank you note for the commanding officer. Dear Gates County Commissioners, thank you for allowing us to brief the Department of Defense Community JLBS program to you. I completely understand your concerns, and I appreciate your comments and questions. If you decide not to participate, I do not want that to preclude you from reaching out to us should any issues, I'm not sure what that word is, arise, I think. I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Captain Jake Johansson. And we also have an invitation to the Albemarle Heinzman Association Banquet, Saturday, March 14th. The menu of wild game and pork will be served. from 4 to 7. Turkey Shoot will begin at 1. Location at 4-H Livestock Building in Elizabeth City. If you're interested, you need RSVP, and you can get the information from me. Okay, calendar,
Got one other
okay.
comment on correspondence. I see a letter here from USDA. Just for information, I noticed that it says appointment nomination form will be accepted in our office February 13, 2015. That obviously was passed. This is just, what is this for action?
It was, no, it was for information, and if you still knew of anyone, we received several of these letters as well as the Department of Social Services. And we received this after we had met last time, so I believe this, and we received this actually right before the 13th. We were late in receiving it, and I just wanted you to be aware. If you did have someone that you thought might fill this requirement, I have a feeling if you talk with Mr. Garrett, that he could advise you on if they were able to fill that seat or not.
Okay, I'd like to also remind you that coming up, we have the district commissioners meeting on the 25th in Williamston. We'll get together to carpool on that. And we have a commissioners meeting on the 16th at 9. And do we have the economic development?
Yes, ma'am. At 6 o'clock.
Okay, we have the economic development at 6 that night. So mark the calendars for 6. Okay, any other thing that's under administrative reports? Okay, we need to have a public hearing. Concerning the closeout of the CBBG scatter site housing project. So, do I have a motion for that? The public hearing.
Yes, if I could just make everyone aware, this is for the fiscal year 2011 CDBG program. It was financed with $400,000 of CDBG funds that were received from the Department of Commerce, and the project consists of clearance, reconstruction, and rehabilitation of 4 dwellings that were occupied by low and moderate income persons, and all activities are just about complete. We're still have some closeout activities that we need to finish up, and we are in the process of finishing up the grant. This is a public hearing so that we can proceed with finalizing all the grant and signing all the documents so they can be returned to the Department of Commerce by March the 22nd.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we are now in public hearing. Is there any public comment about the community development program, the grant program that we have participated in? Hearing no one voice of opinion, do I have a motion to invite a closed session?
So moved.
The public hearing, excuse me.
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor of going out of public hearing?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. 9.
Just to make you aware that the county received $382,623.01 out of the $400,000 that was allocated. And we do have a closeout resolution that I would like for Ms. Hoffler to read, that needs to be read, and then we have to sign if it's approved by the board.
Okay. This is the Gates County for the fiscal year 11 Community Development Program closeout resolution. A resolution authorizing the closeout of the Gates County FY11 Community Development Program. Be it resolved by the Gates County Board of Commissioners that whereas the county is participating in the Community Development Block Grant Program under the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended, administered by the North Carolina Department of Commerce, and whereas the county has completed all the approved project activities, and whereas the county certifies that an advertisement was published on February 18, 2015 in the Gates County Index, and whereas the county certifies that a public hearing to review and assess the performance of this project in accordance with the North Carolina CDBG program regulations was conducted on Monday, March 4, 2015 at 10 a.m. to discuss the project closeout. Comments made at the public hearing were favorable, and therefore be it resolved that the Gates County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes the closeout of the FY11 Community Development Program and directs the chair to act on behalf of the county in executing closeout documentation as the chief elected official under the provisions of the North Carolina Community Development Block Grant Program Regulation or NCAC 19L, adopted this 4th day of March 2015. Do I have a motion?
The only question I would have is, since there were no public comments, does that statement need to be changed?
There is another form where it asks if there are any comments to attach them, and then we would write not applicable on this closeout form.
I also have a question.
Okay.
I expect you to help me on this. $400,000 grant, and 383 was used. I wonder if it were possible, could we award, say, I'll just pull a number, say $5,000 of that to our housing committee that exists? I wonder if we could have.
No, sir. Everything had to be accounted for and submitted to CDBG. It had to relate to this scattered site housing project.
So it had to be, even if they had a rehabilitation project of their own, it being a county entity. I don't think we could have done that.
No, and we cannot submit any more invoices.
Okay.
This
Had we
was,
thought about that ahead of that? You still don't think?
I still don't know, because it had to go through, from what I understand from reading all the documents, since I was not here, I'm playing, catch up on some of this, that would not have been able to have been done.
Having asked that question, and I sort of thought that was the answer, but I wanted to bring up the topic. When this next cycle comes around, if we have 4 scattered site selections plus a 5th entry of, let the housing authority is, like if they have a specific project and we're specific about it, I wonder if we could declare that as a 5th project. And maybe we could run out of funds before we got there. I'm wondering if we had that item in there, would that allow us to be able to do it?
They have, from my understanding, they have to qualify for the replacement, and this is for replacement homes, it's not for restoration.
Rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation. And if they don't qualify, we may have some people in the housing project that may not meet all of the qualifications of the CDBG scattered site. So it's kind of hard to mix it. Now, what can be done, I believe, now they might verify this, is that if we had used, let's say, $350,000, and we wanted to take on another person, we could go up to $400,000 if the county wanted to put in and to that, finish it out.
So basically the way you're answering that question is the housing association, I'm probably using the wrong terminology, but therefore oversights for probably people who wouldn't qualify to sort of fall in the cracks anyway. Somewhat.
Right.
All right. Just for a matter of clarification for me, in setting up that, is that a separate line item within the budget?
You're talking about the housing committee?
For that amount of money that Jack was mentioning, that line item, is that a line item by itself?
You see, the CDBG is a grant, and it's separate. Now, the housing
Housing Authority?
Well, it's the housing, basically, housing committee.
Committee, that is a line item.
Right,
Well, so it's a
But
line.
that's a local,
Well,
right.
in keeping that in line within itself, is that a matching grant, like 75, 25, 50, or just a
For
grant?
the CDBG, no, this was all state funds.
and we don't get it every year.
Correct. Because when Mr. Nolan visited back, I think it was in December, January, he said there was not any more funds on the horizon for this type of project.
Thank you.
Now, what happens is that the housing committee will recommend to the CDBG administrator recipients that we feel qualify. I think several of those people that received replacement houses this round came from the housing committee. So we work together with it, but, you know, we can't get those excess funds.
Can't put me. Okay, thank you. We'll go to the old, oh yes, the vote for that. I'll entertain a motion to authorize the chairman to sign the documentation necessary to close out the CBD grant. Or
So moved.
CDBG.
Second. Second motion.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Hopefully I don't have to say the CDBG again. Or, no, I'd like to have the money. Okay, old business. We have several commissioners' appointments that we need to,
And this was the one that was continued from last month for the Aging and Adult Services Task Force. I believe you had asked for more information because this is a commissioner that's appointed to the board. And in your packet, there's an email from Ms. Holly, Director of DSS, that tells the information about when they meet, which is every other month on the second Friday at 10 a.m. to meet at the DSS offices in the conference room. And the next meeting, one was February 13th, and the next is April the 10th. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, 9 a.m.
okay, do we have any volunteers for the commissioners?
I'll take that one.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Let's have a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
And a motion and a second has been made to appoint Henry Jordan to the Gates County Aging and Adult Service Task Force. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Once again, thank you, Mr. Jordan, for taking that on. Okay, we have two more, and I believe that was these. The appointments are on. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. Try to keep it straight. Okay, Sunbury street lights. What have you, if those of you, when you read the packet, you saw what the general statutes statement. I see all of us have had it highlighted. If you remember, the Sunbury Rotary Club came before us requesting the county pay for the lights. And then they mentioned about seeing if the county, if there could be a procedure where we collect the money. And you see what the general statutes state. That the county may approve the levy of streetlight assessment under this section, competition of at least 2/3 of the owners of the lots within the subdivision. The problem is, where is Sunbury subdivision? I mean, where is the boundary lines?
Well, they were kind of established back in 2010. But before we get too in-depth in this, I would like to read a letter that was sent to the Rotary Club in April of 2010. And the letter reads, Dear Rotarans, enclosed you will find a donation in the amount of $50 for the Sunbury Streetlight Project. I thank you for all the good work you're doing, and you may and be blessed in all your future endeavors. In September of 2010, I responded to your request via Mr. John Crocker to seek assistance from the county commissioners to maintain the Sunbury street lights through county funding. I submitted to you a copy of the North Carolina General Statute 153-206 and an Excel spreadsheet of all the landowners in Sunbury area served by the street lights. This general statute authorizes county commissioners to assess a fee for street lights in a subdivision of the county that is not incorporated. If a petition is signed by 2/3 of the landowners in the area, once the fee is determined, you can be billed through the tax department on an annual basis. As previously stated in our September 2010 correspondence, if you will get 2/3 of the landowners in the previously provided spreadsheet, approximately 118 of the 176 landowners, to sign the petition for assessing a fee to cover the streetlights in Sunbury area, commissioners have agreed to proceed with implementing the fee through the county's tax department annually in accordance with 153A-206. I fully support maintaining the area lights within the town of Sunbury as a measure of continued safety and sustained quality of life for all residents and businesses in the area. Best regards, Henry Jordan, County Commissioner. That letter was sent to them, and a copy of the spreadsheet showing all of the residents in that area who would need to be to sign up. And I'll turn that over to you, the county manager. And from my knowledge, they never got back with the commissioners with a signed petition saying that those residents were willing to take on the cost.
And Madam Chairman, just to add to that, with Commissioner Jordan, I mentioned that about Gates Roofing Club. I subsequently checked with Dominion Power, and they have a program, and they're going to get back to me as pertaining to cost share sort of thing with streetlights. Don't know where Sunbury's Dominion Power or REA or.
I think it's
Dominion
Dominion Power. So they are going to get back with me on that, but I was told by an employee that they would check and advise us, and I'll get with you on that.
Henry, the document that I just passed down, did that include a list of the people you thought would be affected by that? Is that what that was?
Right, there's an Excel spreadsheet that shows all the residents. The tax department worked that out. We as a board had a tax department determine where those boundaries were. Chairman, I believe you asked that question. And those were 176 within that boundary that would be required to sign up for that. And to my knowledge, the Sunbury Roofing Club did not respond to that letter.
When that was done, to develop that division, did we go to where the farthest light out was and encompass those people inside of it? Is that the way that was done, you think?
To my knowledge, I believe it was Tom Perry Service Station, Sunbury Fire Department, and St. John Church. And I'm not sure where the other boundary was going to be.
Well, I see Beulah Baptist.
Beulah, okay.
I know that there's Barlow. Let me look to see if the Brinkley's are down there or it's not advertised.
I think it might be Beulah, or I'm not sure. It might be.
I was trying to see it, because I guess it would go in order.
Well, this is from the document that was in our packet, that statute. It sounds like that if it were approved in that we'll call division of the county, specifically Sunbury, that the the citizens affected by the use of the lights will be paid 100%
And they would be taxed equally
equally.
for the cost that would be spread around. But the other thing to that is, the way the statute reads, I think you have to pay the first year in advance, and then the next year, what was accumulated would take care of the following years.
So it would be in the tax levy, so it'd be up to us to keep up with it. The work like the fire levy and things of that nature, swamp drainage stuff.
From the list, it looks like it goes all the way down past the Brinkley's to the swamp, the bridge there at the swamp, because it has James Earl on that, and that was the Brinkley's. And it looks like it goes up, going toward Cooper to where the firehouse is.
And I believe we said that this was did we say that there was a situation that already existed in Gates? Street lights there, or?
Once upon a time,
Okay.
yes, sir.
It doesn't seem like an issue there for some reason.
Didn't you say they discontinued
They
them?
discontinued that.
So, I just, I'm certainly not opposed to this. Henry sent a letter back in 2010, I believe you said, to the Ruritan Club. They didn't respond, but maybe the responsibility falls on us to be the party that, if there's enough concern about it, should we develop a letter mailed to those 177 or whatever the number is now, give them the opportunity to respond by mail or
No,
respond?
they have to assign a petition that says, so there would have to be one place somewhere for them to sign.
Okay.
Also, I think they would probably want to have an idea of the cost,
Right.
because some of these, there are a lot of rental properties that one landlord has.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I'm not sure it's our responsibility to go out to do it.
As part of the conversation I had with the employee with Dominion, is that they also do that in the county. If the residents there request to them, then subsequently there's a cost sharing even there. Gave me an example, it's on Gates Road going to Franklin, where you see street lights just in the country, on the countryside. And those citizens got together, contacted them, it's a cost share.
And also we have to think about the precedents or whatever. I wrote down Whitehurst development. There's a pretty good number of residents out there in one area. If they came to us and said, we'd like to do the same, the poles and the lights and the bulbs are already in somewhere. If something like that were to be requested out there are no poles. So the cost could be pretty high if we get involved. If we get involved here and then we get addressed by another part of the county, we have to get involved there. So we certainly have to keep that in consideration.
Well, I think, we've adequately given the opportunity for the county to get involved. And I think we can offer this to every locale if they wanted to do it. Establish the boundaries of what citizens are affected and petition. But in order to start the petition, the Rotary Club seemed to be the vehicle that's going to make that happen. I'm not sure I agree that the county manager should go and post up a petition list in Family Food, Minimart, Tom Perry, wherever, public places. If they came to us, I think we should also remind them that, this was offered previously, and if they want to follow through with it, we'll certainly try to get it going again. It's been 5 years. Raised up again.
I agree with Mr. Jordan. I think we need to respond to them with looking through our archives, we find this. It's been 5 years. If you want to do a petition, and then, it's all on them. And if anyone else, we make them aware of it. But, as you point out, you know, the poles and everything on there, somewhere else it might be a different cost share involved. But just, if they want to do a petition, and then, you know, send it to, that it's been signed and verified.
Well, the petition will come back to us.
Yes.
And once, you know, they have the accurate number, we can pass it by resolution. And from that point on, the tax office could
Of course, it puts more work on the tax office.
we would absorb that. Of course, the general statute allows us to charge a certain amount for administration if we want to do that. But I don't foresee so much of that. Of course, when you look at our tax bill, we've got a lot of add-ons anyway. You know, we've got fire department, and various things added on to our tax bills. But this would just be another small amount,
To certain citizens.
certain citizens, exactly.
And Madam, you said something, that might, with 10 or 12 properties, it might be.
Because if you look through these names,
And they would have to be made aware, like you said, I was reading to clarify, and it does say that they have to pay to the tax collector the total estimated assessment amount for the ensuing year. So they would have to go ahead and pay that in advance.
One year in advance, and then the rest of the time.
You would be able to predict what the bill's going to be pretty close to that, so that wouldn't be too much of a burden. The other thing we have to be, what we would have to understand is, if there's somebody who disagrees with that, let's say they follow through and more than 2/3 agree with the petition and it goes through, somebody
all
disagrees
it's got
with
paid.
it, he sends a check in for his tax bill minus the street lights, his tax bill's not paid until it's all paid.
We're a nation of majority.
Yeah. I mean, but they have to make work, just because you say no doesn't alleviate you from tax.
All right, so this came to us again through the Rotary Club
Yes.
this time.
Well, I think
But Madam Chairman, I certainly think we could be a conduit for them and not take on responsibility. Be a conduit for letting them contact whomever, REA or Dominion Power, and find out what the cost share is.
I think we should entertain a motion maybe to direct the county manager to respond, provide a copy of this letter, and tell them maybe if they want to do a petition, and then maybe contact Dominion and see what cost share was, so they can be fully informed the public about a ballpark figure about the cost.
Were they, do you know, Mr. Jordan, if they were ever given this list, the whole thing?
That was an attachment, I that in my sense.
Madam Chairman, I have a motion to make on the matter and move forward.
Yes, please.
I move that we instruct the county manager to make contact with the Sunbury Rotary Club in any manner she chooses, but certainly to make sure they get this entire document and to notify them that we'd like to know what their plan of action is, if any. And I'll ask the county manager to add to my, or revise my motion if she chooses.
Well, no. It needs a second.
Yeah, they need a second.
Then I'll ask.
Go ahead. I'll second. Yes, ma'am.
A motion's been made, and second, any discussion?
Yes. Send this old list or work up a new, just send the letter and then a new list.
I think Kathy needs to verify that,
Okay.
because I'm sure 5 years of tax bill, they have changed, properties
Okay.
they've been sold for,
Like Frank Rice is dead.
and so some things have changed.
And Mr. Williams, should we also entertain the thought of letting them know they could contact Dominion and find out, Dominion and REA, to find out their program?
Well, it has to be amended for some grant thing. I don't think REA touches any part of that.
In terms of cost sharing. Well, in the contact, it would certainly be, I think it'd be okay for Natalie to mention that there's something called a cost share.
And my other question is regards to the bill. It has Gates County Commissioners on it, however, there's not, our tax ID is not associated with this bill at all.
Over 2,500?
I don't know how much it is now. As of November, can't read that note. Okay, as of January 26th, there was almost $3,000 due.
Is that, or that's not a month?
No, that's for all the years that they have not paid.
Does it have a 1 month?
Yes,
So,
it's 400. Well, this is with all the late charges. It was $432.90.
Per year?
No, per month.
Per month.
Okay, I think maybe we need to do one motion and then we'll take a motion on the, like, bill. Okay, the motion in front of us at the present time is to direct the county manager to write a letter to the Sunbury Rotary Club with a copy of the past letter that was sent in 2010 and to ask them if they are interested in proceeding with doing a petition that the general statutes that, permit it, and then we'll wait to
Revised copy, yeah.
a revised copy of the tax list.
I agree to that, that's the motion.
That's the motion in front of us.
Would you also like to include a copy of this general statute?
I was going to.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded. Everyone has heard the motion. Any other further discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the motion is passed. Give you that. Okay, now the second issue is this bill of approximately
Over $3,000.
over $3,000 now.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
just simply on the grounds of good business, it is not our bill.
Amen.
I move that, I move that we do not pay the bill because it's not our bill.
If I may comment, I certainly agree with that. It's not, should not be borne on our citizens to take care of that, not be aware of it, and just be billed.
Okay, are you
So
ready to make
second.
a motion?
If that's a motion, I will second it, or either I'll make a
That's my motion.
Okay, motion's been made not to pay the bill.
motion. Second.
Second, any discussion?
Yes. I think we ought to communicate to the Rotary Club, or whoever the contact is that in regard to the bill, if they're willing to go through the petition, that we would look at trying to allocate those costs across the citizenry that would sign up, or that would be responsible for it if they're willing to get a petition. I think provisions could, be interpreted in the general statute, whether it can be done, whether it's upfront money, or if we add some additional, which allows us to add additional administrative. So that cost could be absorbed if they follow through with the petition by allocating it to the citizenry that will be affected. If everyone understands what I'm saying.
Also distribute that bill across the citizens.
Exactly.
Of course, if John Doe just moved into the neighborhood last week, he's going to pay for something in arrears. But I understand that. So we are open for discussion.
Yes.
I went ahead and made that motion because, as Commissioner Freeman said, this is not something that all of the citizens should pay. Okay, so that's the reason I went ahead and made that motion and wanted to get it out on the floor and get that resolved. I believe Sunbury Rotary Club was the first Rotary Club in North Carolina, the very first Rotary Club. They do a fantastic job over there, and I've got some good friends in there. And, you know, this is a business matter. And so that's, I just want to say that that's why I made that motion. And so we could move on to that. But I believe that there might be some people or some organizations, maybe either, you know, other Rotary clubs in the county or something, might go together and help them get that burden off of them. It doesn't really belong to Sunbury Rotary Club either. You know, this is something that was done, and the contributions from the citizens got weak, and then it didn't exist, so they didn't have the money to pay the bill. So it's unfortunate that it falls on them, but as a board, we have to do what we just did. But I hope that as some solution or resolution to the whole matter comes forward, that some people will step up and help the Sunbury Rotary Club in that manner. And, I mean, I even have some ideas I won't share right now, but hopefully it won't continue to be a burden on them, and that bill there will go away with the help of some people.
My only concern is that bill didn't happen overnight.
That's correct.
Where was their diligence in looking, I mean, when they began not to be able to collect fees or from the citizens or whatever, or that they could no longer absorb it. I think they did have meetings with the citizens in Sunbury, and I think they did not get a response. They would not pick up the cost, the citizens.
Who is the letter mailed to?
The
Mailing
bill?
address?
Yeah. What's the address on
This is County of Gates Board of Commissioners, and then it says Sunbury Rotary Club, and it has their address.
it? So we know the county never received that.
And if I may comment as well, I certainly agree with Jackie in his comments about the Rotary Club. I am a Rotary, and have been for a while, is that it is not, you know, a burden of them. And I think probably since that bill is made out to the Board of Commissioners, that's why it came to us, and they probably discussed it. And it's certainly not a mark on the Rotary Club that we're not supporting to pay that $3,000 bill, because it would be a burden on everyone in the county. I do feel like that we as Rotaryans, other clubs, we can certainly help them out if they wish to do that.
And Mr. Crawford did say he did not know why it was ever set up under County of Gates Board of Commissioners. He said they couldn't find any records that said anything why it was done that way many years ago.
And I might add that the Sunbury Lights is very important because it's a safety issue. I mean, you know, we don't have as many businesses there now, but you've got streets and homes, and you've got some conglomerations there that if you don't have street lights, it could be fairly unsafe. So, you know, we could add a lot to Sheriff Webb if it doesn't happen. So I'm hoping that you know, they will take an initiative to try to get this done. It's not the easiest thing in the world to go to knock on doors and say, you know, would you sign to pay a part of the street lights? It's going to require some, you know, creativity on how to get that cooperation. You know, even if we send out a bill in our water department or whatever, I mean, a notice in the water department to those recipients, I'm not sure that would, you know, would generate the kind of interest, but it's going to take some creativity to make it happen and to be successful with it.
I think probably, I mean, to get a good response, you're going to have to go door to door. I mean, face to face.
And
And I'm not
think-
sure you're going to get the response but that would be a good faith effort. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to,
I do agree with Commissioner Jordan and want to additionally say from the law enforcement side, that is called force field analysis. When we light up an area to move drug dealers and thieves away from the area, we put lights there, and that moves them to an area where they could be apprehended.
okay, anyone else? Okay, the motion is on the floor that we do not pay the bill. It has been properly seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. I guess we can send that to them as well. Okay, the next one on the old business is consideration of participation in the joint land use study. As you know, last month, the Department of Defense came and made a presentation to us. We had a thank you note from the Navy captain. What is the pleasure of the board?
I move that we do not participate.
Second.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded not to participate. Or is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of not participating in the joint land use study, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I think we adjourned Camden and the rest of them to have said no as well. Moving on to new business. No, still got, yeah, new business. Oh, did we do this? Yeah. Okay, the new business.
No, I'm sorry.
You know, there is
It's a nursing home.
the nursing home. Consideration of, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead, I'm trying to rush through it here. Number 9, consideration of a stipend for the nursing home advisory committee.
I did survey several counties, including counties that are not within the Albemarle Commission, but are small like us. And out of the responses, only one county said they paid, and that was Chowan County. They said that they paid their people $20 per meeting.
They say how many meetings they had.
No, he never responded back.
You know, there again, as the general statute points out, you can't pay compensation, but you can pay for the expenses. And obviously, travel to the meeting back and forth is an expense. I know that they meet monthly. Also, they generally go to the nursing home at least once a week. Sometimes they go more than that. But I do feel that compensation for one meeting a month and one visitation per week would certainly take care of some of the expenses they are incurring. If you figure, let's say the most is 10 miles for any resident, 20 miles, you're probably talking about $10 for a meeting, and if they did it once per month on visitations, you're talking another $40, which would be about $50 a month. So I also feel that if we did that, they would need to sign a voucher each month prior to processing and payment that they did attend the meeting, and that they did visit the nursing home once per week during that month. That would essentially cover their expenses. It would not cover their stationaries, their, all the other things that they do, little things that they buy, but that would certainly take care of the travel expense. they incurred.
Are you making that in the form of a motion of Commissioner Jordan?
Well, I could make that as a motion that the advisory committee, Nursing Home Advisory Council has been appointed by the Board of Commissioners. I make a motion that we reimburse for their expenses incurred for their monthly meetings and for their weekly visit to the nursing home to carry out their duties as an advisory council member.
Okay, you have heard the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a second, now we can have discussion. Would you put a maximum amount per month?
I would,
I mean, because they said we can't pay a stipend, so, I mean, the trips.
and that's would be $50 a month, right, exactly.
Maximum being $50
For each member.
per month.
Would we also want to limit the number of trips?
Well, if they had more trips, I think that would basically be on them. We're basically covering one trip per month.
Yes, sir. Do we know how many we're talking about, how many the personnel that would be making?
How many people are on the nursing home advisory committee? Five, isn't there one from each of the voting districts?
I believe, that number's very close.
I think there's one, because I think there's one from each of the districts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's 5.
So that limited to $300 a month? Is it-
$250.
250, right.
Now, I didn't know if you want to put a maximum of 300, even though we'd say 250 with 5.
And County Manager, did you say the only one who was given the sign was $20?
The ones that responded, yes.
And $20 a meeting.
$20 a meeting.
Oh, they did approve.
But we don't know if it's just for the meeting, or not the visitations.
Right. It was just the meeting.
And I think they need more than that sometimes, but I don't know, more than required by the general standards.
Well, a stipend is, most stipends don't fully compensate a person. It's just a selected amount.
Now, do you have a number of how many advisors?
Advisory boards or boards?
Either one.
Did you bring that? There is like 30, so over 30. Now, some have not met recently because Melissa has been trying to update some of that information to find out if they are still actively meeting. But there's about at least 30 boards. And so far, we pay the planning board because they do go out and inspect some of the sites, and the Board of Adjustment. They only receive the $50 stipend if they are there and if they sign the paper attesting that they were in attendance.
That
So
is,
those 28 are not paid.
Correct,
that $50 is per
per meeting.
meeting.
Or and they only meet once per month.
For most months,
So
okay.
we basically know that's fixed.
Correct.
And if you're not there, you don't get paid. Right.
But my question would be, what are we gonna do? As Ray just said, the other 28, are we going to consider them too, or not?
One county responded back that as far as they can remember, they do not pay any of their boards.
My comment would be on looking at the other boards. This is one of the boards, the planning board is general statute driven. Board of Adjustments is general statute driven. And the nursing home is also general statute driven. And, we have to fulfill this as a board. facilitated this, I guess, is the new assisted living facility that's coming. They would also have to service that. You know, we do need people. We do need them to feel this obligation. And, you know, many of our other committees certainly, you know, we need those as well. I serve on committees, and certainly there's no conversation. You do it because it's an interest, it's something you want to promote and be a part of. But if, you know, if someone, if we're required to do it, and certainly they've asked, you know, I think it's legitimate in my sight. I'm trying to help them out there.
Are any of the old boards that are the 30 general statute besides the ones that we know that Commissioner Jordan just mentioned? I know planning, board of adjustment, are any of the old ones?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, the alcohol beverage,
They do not get paid.
or maybe it's general statute?
You think that's state?
So they're not paying for
Okay.
us.
Okay. I thought there was some general statutes on that one.
I was pulling up the last packet to see, but I'm thinking it's 5. That's,
We had, like, in last month, a report from them, which was, I had not seen before, but it was nice to have that report.
okay. Melissa said she found it, and it is 5.
Billy, which is the 28th, is that what you said, the other 28th?
Well, Melissa said it's 37, and
So, real quickly, how about the what if of the other 28? Are we going to have a criteria that dictates whether we consider it or not? Would it be general statute driven? Would that be the primary criteria or the only criteria?
I think that is a criteria. You know, the general statute states what you can do for these committees. You know, I take the housing committee, you know, the committees I serve on, we've got 13 members. And you know, there's nothing that says we have to compensate that committee. And if we did, you know, that's quite a number of people, which you would have to consider. So I think it should be general statutes driven, where it allows us, it makes provisions for that, and that's what we're doing. The statute says that we cannot give compensation, but we can reimburse for expenses, and that's what we're doing. We're giving them a stipend that covers their expenses, and not compensation per se. And in addition, we also said that they need to verify that they did do this in order to get that. And it would be on the chairman. If no one turns in, they have to turn in the member's name. If they don't turn in their voucher saying that, you know, they attended the meeting and they were at the nursing home for X number of times from this month, then they would not get that $50 reimbursement.
And that would stand as accountability.
Exactly.
Well, currently, we're not given a stipend. So clearly, we can go forward and not give a stipend. So what I would recommend is that the committee, that we be under general statute required to provide a committee would be the first consideration that he would be considered for a stipend. But I would be I would be inclined to, just because it's general statute required of us to provide the committee, but that doesn't mean that I would agree that that criteria is required, so it's automatic stipend. I would take, going forward, what I would want to do is take each one on its own merits. Yeah. What's involved, you know, how many meetings are involved? Is it, you know, would it present a financial issue for that participant or whatever? So if we go forward on this, with this stipend, I would, to me, the next one that comes up is not going to be just check the block. For me, it's going to be, I'm going to look at it on its own merit and vote yea or nay. So just to let the rest of the board know, on the other 28, that's how I would approach it.
Okay, the motion in front of us, though, at the current time, is to pay a stipend to the Nursing Home Advisory Committee. It has been duly seconded. Would you entertain a motion to have the max figure it
$50.
at $50?
It's all in the revised motion.
Second.
Yes.
Okay, the motion is that we would max it at $50 with the proper documentation. That is the motion on the floor. Any other discussion?
I think we'll open up a Pandora's box. Of course, these people volunteer for service, and when we start paying them, they don't want to volunteer.
I think we appoint them, and we're looking at this for expenses, this is not a payment. This is expenses for their travel, that would be involved in carrying out those duties that are Shell Jackson driven. And like I said, it's we as a board, when you have a nursing home facility in your county, there are certain requirements we as a board have to adhere to. One of them is to provide a nursing home advisory committee or council. And however we get there, we get there. But there again, it's something that we have to decide when we want to do it.
I do have a question. I know you said that they must have proper documentation, it's a max of $50. Will this essentially be seen as $10 for the meeting and $10 for each trip to the nursing home? Because if someone attends the way the motion is right now, someone could attend the meeting and not go to the nursing home any other time that month and put in for $50.
I believe we did. I believe we discussed the last time. I believe something was said about mileage, whatever, that it wouldn't be attendance 10. Well, maybe the attendance even might be say $10, but there would be documentation showing that they physically made the visits for anything else, and that I was under the impression that a visit was another $10 and another $10. It was like mileage. If you live 11 miles away from the visit, whatever 50-some miles, whatever it is, that the rest of the stipends in payment would be consideration of those true expenses.
Well, that's why I'm asking for
Right.
clarification.
That's what I was thinking. If anybody wants to share anything different.
Yeah, and it was, like I said, up to 4 times a month is what we were talking about. One meeting a month, and I just happen to know that they do visit. Some of them visit a couple times a week, not more. But we would cover 1 meeting and up to 4 visits. And they would also, the form could say travel for 1 meeting and 4 visits per month. And they would verify that that's, based on all the systems, they have to tell the truth. That's what they did. If they did not do that, then they would not receive that.
Wouldn't they have to put the date of the visit?
Well, I mean, we could require that too, but.
Of course, if you're not going to tell the truth, it doesn't matter, you would write any number down.
Well, the report that we saw, and I think the first one we sent,
Mm-hmm.
that was detailed information.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it was very detailed information, recommendations, if I remember correctly.
But that's the first one I could
The
see.
first one I've seen in 5 years. But is that, Natalie, that something we should have been receiving, or does that go?
I believe
To another location?
it had been going to Deborah Sheard, is that what she told you? Because she had been, Deborah Sheard, who's the ombudsman with Avon Commission, had been communicating with Melissa. And she receives that, has been receiving that report.
And so it was forwarded to Melissa.
Actually, it came from a committee member, I believe, this time directly to Melissa.
But it was interesting reading. I would like to continue to receive those, because that helps us understand what the issues
Is
are.
that a quarterly report, Natalie, or monthly report?
That was a yearly report, if I remember.
Annual.
I think it was yearly.
Madam Chairman, if I could ask the county manager, is there anything we're missing in our debate here that you want to add?
And maybe it's food for thought, has this ever come up before?
Not that I'm aware of. As far as missing,
In the dialogue?
I just think we would need to be clear on how they're being paid so that not only they understand, but also when the paperwork comes into finance, they're clear about, does this person get 50 for only going one time? And these people went 3 or 4 times and they get 50, that sort of thing.
And how much it would cost to write a check for $10?
Well, they write them all the time, because if you look on the report, they write those, that's some for $5.03. I mean, I think that you really have to be clear about rationale if we go forward with this, since we have all the boards. And, you know, we said this was general statute. The second thing that if we go forward with this is that if you attend the meeting, you get X amount of dollars. Those would have to come if you do the visitation. So there would have to be a form where you would feel like, or the voucher, you know, would have to be done monthly, and it might be that 1 month, you might be sick, you might be on vacation, you didn't do the visit.
It's not automatic cut check.
Because I know one of them, one lady on it spends part of the year in Florida, or has in the past. So, in Florida, you're not going to come back here to, for.
Do we, I know we have a motion
Mhm.
and a second. I'm wondering, do we need to see a chart with all 30 of these? And see what potential is? I know Billy made a comment about can of worms over there.
Well, from my viewpoint, I don't think we could do anything until a new budget year anyway. Isn't that? Because it would have to come, it's not a line item at this present time. So we do have some time to think about it, because a line item,
We could,
We-
if we choose to, we could go ahead and start.
could start it, but this is March, and we have May, April, May, and June.
I think we probably be appropriate to start that fiscal year.
In the fiscal year, if we started it. And so we don't have to rush to do that.
Well, having said, Madam Chairman, having hearing Commissioner Jordan say that it would be appropriate in his opinion to wait until the fiscal year, knowing that we have a good 3 months. I asked Mr. Jordan, should we have any more discussion or further looking before we approve this? You made the motion, so I'm asking.
Well, you know, I've looked at this fairly in-depth. I recognize that the other members of the board may not have done that. And I've attended some of those meetings. I was an ex officio member, I think in 2011 or 12. And I know what's involved. I don't think it's a situation where, you know, we're not fairly treating our other committees with the same consideration. I believe that there's some justification to this. If they don't meet, we've got to answer. I mean, if that committee is not performing, the Albemarle Commission can come to the county and say, the advisory commission it is not performing as it should, and it's on us. It's on us to get people in there. If you've got a group of people in there who are willing to do this, they recognize the fact that it's required and that it's costing them. I just feel like it's just one of those where we should just, within the limits that we're constrained in, go ahead and give them the reimbursement for their expenses.
So you feel this one has merit based on what
I
you
feel it has merit. If someone else came and they made a case, certainly take a look at that and see what they say. It doesn't mean that if there's another committee that feels that they should be compensated, hear the merits. See how it goes.
Okay, a motion is on the floor, it's been properly seconded. Would you entertain in your motion not to start this until the new fiscal year?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we start at the beginning of this year, July 1st.
Second.
Okay, the motion before us is that we pay a stipend, expense vouchers for our nursing home advisory committee to begin in the fiscal year 2015-2016. The maximum amount per month would be $50 per member, and it is related to the general statutes. Okay, and Melissa, you can clean that up.
That would be based on one meeting.
One meeting,
At least 4 visits per month.
4 visits, with proper documentation.
Yes.
Okay, that is the motion before us. Is it, everybody's clear on what they're voting for?
Yeah, I'd like to make one more statement before we vote, because I'm going to vote no, and I'm going to have a chance to explain it when I vote no, so I want to say it now. I'm going to vote no because I don't want to be the one the person comes up to and says, why did you start paying this committee? I serve on 4 committees, I don't get paid on any of them. Why are you not paying me?
Okay, the question, the motion is before us concerning the nursing home advisory committee, paying an expense voucher for them, the maximum amount of $50 per month with proper documentation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
No. So it's 2 to 3, motion does not pass. Okay, moving on to new business. So these are like our appointments. The first one is to the Gates County Aging and Adult Services Task Force. Okay, currently there is no applications received to fill the vacant position on the Community Child Protection Team and Child Fatalities Prevention Team.
And that is a department, it's been a request from DSS that a department head or a county employee who works within a department that deals with children or families that have an interest in this to serve, because a department head retired and this request was sent out, and we have not had anyone so far respond that they are interested in serving.
So you're looking for a department head or a
member or a county employee within, because of the way the statute reads. it could be an employee.
And you have sent out a request?
I have sent out a request, and I've actually spoke to the person who, when the department head left, asked an employee to attend, and that employee attended in good faith, not knowing what the committee was about. And I've spoken with that employee, and they've not responded. I think they feel that they've got a lot on their plate right now, so we have not had anyone at this time say that they would attend.
Madam Chairman, if I may volunteer to assist the county manager and also the sheriff in recruiting someone.
There's several, I think there's 2 already on there from the sheriff's department, so this would be separate from the sheriff's department.
Okay, so do you, since we've had no candidates, do you want us to try to go out and recruit someone?
No, it has to be an employee to wait.
To us, talk to an employee.
Right, and I can send you some more information. They have, it's very clear in general statutes what they have to do. Ms. Holly and I talked about it, and I've read the statute. They don't meet that often, and this is actually, instead of in general statutes, there's 2 separate boards, but because of the size of Gates County, they meet as one board. And we do already have several other employees on these committee.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir.
we missed an item on the agenda.
Oh, the customer. Okay, I apologize.
And could we take a break?
Okay, we'll take a break. Okay, my mistake, I left out an item on old business, the customer service policy. I believe at the last meeting, we asked to go back and review our policies, and so Ms. Sanders is here, so.
Good afternoon now.
Yes,
Yes, there was a motion made last month that the county manager and I discussed the customer service policy. We have discussed this several times since the last meeting. I believe even the chairman at the same time. She has discussed it with the customer service department. At the last meeting, there was even the question asked if the personnel going out to disconnect could wait while the customer came in and paid the bill. That is in our policy, current policy, that they do not do that. It's not advisable at this time to change that. And the other statement was made, could our meter readers or board of the department going out to cut off the meters, could they collect out in the field? That also was not advisable. That's not done through any of the counties. So many factors could go wrong with collecting money, collecting cash, whatever at the sites. We do have our social media pages that are updated, and our robocalls. We sent out the second robocalls this month. We made a lot of headway with that. This was the month of the perfect storm because we went with our lockbox with Southern Bank in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania was just devastated in the storms. I've had a call from other counties to find out if we were having difficulty collecting checks in the mail. There's been a difficult time with checks getting through to the lockbox service, which is contracted as a third party with Southern Bank. Yesterday's batch that was sent to us had dates on it that went all the way back to February the 5th. And each date when a batch comes in, the customer service department goes in, removes these off the list. We credit them the late fees. If they would have made it on time, we credit them with the service fee for disconnection. That was one day, this was February the 20th. We had 87 checks that came in. 82 of the 87 would have made it in on time, and they went back and got it manually pulled off the list. We give them credits left and right. We're doing everything we can to assist in this. There are 6 means of paying your bill at this time. Yes, you can pay in person. You can go to our drop box out front. You can put it in the mail. On the back of the bill is official payments where you can pay by phone or you can pay online through computer. And with our AR box with bill pay with your bank, that's electronic payment. They no longer cut us a check. And that's paid the next day. And in the future, I want to go with bank drafts and credit cards. But we're trying to get this behind us at this time. With having currently 6 means to pay your bill, I think we're doing pretty good. There are other counties out there larger than us that haven't gone to AR box and lock boxes yet. A question was sent out by LISTSER, which is the School of Government, and there was a county that was going to revamp their billing, their cycles and their bill, and every suggestion that came back on LISTSER, Gates County was already doing, so I was proud of us in that respect. This month, when it was getting close to our cutoff list, we had 276 people in there. And with the extra initiative that was put forth, that dropped down to 59. So I think that was a great effort put forth in that. And there was also the statement made that we needed clearer wording on our bill. We had it put out last month that we had a new remittance address. We're spelling that out even clearer. That will go out in next month's bill, not the one that just went out this week. Clearer wording about the lockbox is through Southern Bank. It's not through the county. And this is Southern Bank's lockbox center in Pennsylvania, so that takes the pressure off of us because we explained that an awful lot. And explaining to the customers about the electronic bill pay with their bank to make sure that the new billing address is correct and that their account number is correct with that also. And we're still collecting phone numbers from everyone every time there's a contact. Please give us an updated phone number so that we can contact you with our robocalls.
Did you not say because of weather, because we were closed and that you delayed?
Oh yes, we did. We were supposed to have run our the bill due date on the 16th. Well, that was a federal holiday, so the banks were closed. We were closed on the 17th, so therefore that we prolonged the late fees because we were taking the weather into consideration. The 26th was our day for running our service fees for cutoffs. We do not cut off on a Friday as a courtesy. We did not cut off on a Monday because we were still collecting fees. So we didn't send out cutoffs until yesterday. And yesterday was March the 3rd. So we've extended this and tried to be as generous as we can to customers. I polled neighboring counties to see what their policy was on disconnects. We're running about half and half, with some that are running two months. Hertford County, right next to us, is even more stringent than us. They give you 5 days to pay your bill. On the 6th day, they will cut you off. We give a bill due date. We give you 10 days beyond that, plus taking into consideration holidays, weekend, inclement weather, whatever. Edgecombe County, I believe, does the same thing. They have the 15th and the 25th, where we run the 16th and the 26th. So we're very compatible with neighboring counties.
And if someone has a clean bill and it's late, you don't cut it, you roll it over?
We roll that over. Yes,
so
we
they
do.
would not get cut off?
We had 26 people on the list this month that we pulled off. That took Carol quite a time. Carol and Daphne are getting the brunt of this with the customers coming in and explaining about the lockbox. And we don't know why the mail is running late, but every measure that they're taking to keep them off the cutoff list.
And didn't you guys tell me that when you contacted the bank, like while it's such a delay, that they even sent you the envelopes?
Well, no, the third-party billers, the lockbox service, they pulled them off all of the trash can. They sent them back to the post office to have an inspection done on why there's such a delay. And the investigation, they said it's going to take up to 2 weeks to get the results back on that. So we've tried with that respect. But there was even a delay in this county. And like I said, the other counties were having delays with it also.
Could you state for me the forgiveness period, you've got a clean record, how far we want that?
12 months.
12 months?
Mhm.
So,
They are still responsible for late fees and service fees, but it rolls over. They just get pulled off the cutoff list.
so the 276 number,
Mhm.
you got it reduced to 59,
Yes, we did.
and you did that by phone call and whatever.
Robocalls, the checks finally coming in. That's it. The robocalls have helped immensely because people, it's just a courtesy call. Instead, if you have made a payment recently, please disregard it. But because of the weather, people calling in said, I mailed my check. And some of the people were even so cautious, I know the check's caught up in the mail, they would even come in and pay their bill in person and said when the check does show up, let it run as a credit on their account.
We can have 6 ways of paying our bill, one of those being electronic.
Yes, sir.
We have posted on our website a late payment policy.
Yes, sir. Our customer service policy is posted on the website.
Well, I feel that cutting off one of our citizens' water after the first notice is a bit stringent in Gates County. Clemens County has a policy that if the previous month's bill has not been paid, customer water service will be turned off after 25 days from the billing date for the second month. Dominion Power, Roanoke Electric, they don't cut water, they don't cut power off after 1 month.
Roanoke Electric does.
Electric does.
That's
You have
standard.
a
It's 7 or 9
you have
days.
Exactly 7 days grace period from your due date before Roanoke Electric cuts you off.
I stand corrected on that. But, I don't know if all their ancillary policies as well in making that happen, whether or not they get notices or what. But cutting off the water is a serious issue. It's something that we can't take lightly. It involves people who may be elderly. You don't know what we have in that home. One of the concerns why we as a board agreed to go from 2 months, which we previously were at, to 1 month, was to try to help catch up some of the arrears. Well, if you implement the policy of when a person pays, if their water's going to be cut off, if they're 1 month behind, they have to pay both months. I think that would have been the fix. Instead of allowing someone to come in and say, well, I've got 2 months, I'm going to pay my month behind and then leave the other one delinquent. If we had fixed that, that would have taken care of the problem rather than going back to 1 month and saying that we cut it off after 1 month. So, I recognize the great work that the customer service department is doing and the efforts that are being taken to try to give the citizens an opportunity to pay through robocall and various payment methods. But I think the change that we made from the 2 month, we really need to go back to that, but add something, a caveat in there that says that they have to catch up if they have a turn-off notice and not just pay what was previously delinquent. And that would have been the fix. So I think all of you, it's great information, what we've given. I do agree that, well, I'm not totally in agreement that we can't address the problem. If you've got someone cutting off the water at someone's property, and they say, wait a minute, I'll go down and pay or whatever. I just think that there should be some provisions to make that happen. But there again, I can understand the administrative efforts that might take on the customer service department. And we're not talking about a lot of money. We're talking, when we're talking water bill, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think when we get a water bill, it's something like $15, the other $15 for
The minimum is 25, but then by the time you add your 10% late fee and a $25 reconnect fee, you know, even for the minimum.
If I may, before Carol took over and before Diane was involved, and we did cut off if you were 2 months delinquent, when you hit the cutoff list, you were forced to pay your full balance.
Yeah.
That's how it was set up when it was changed to being due every month or disconnected. I mean, we had that implemented at that time, Daphne and myself, that when you hit the cutoff list for being 2 months delinquent, the only way you come off of that list is if you caught your balance up to a zero balance. If you did not, you tried to leave some, you got disconnected by paying your past due and leaving current. That was something that we had worked and changed prior to it switching to being due every month. That was at the point that we had made it to trying to address all the arrears, and then it was changed to the monthly billing, splitting the cycles, 2 separate due dates, and disconnecting after being delinquent for just that 1 month.
And Mr. Ashworth, how far back did that go, when that was implemented, do you think?
About 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, we went through several.
It went through several changes, and it's just been a waterfall ever since of just constant changing, trying to address and get a smooth flow in the collections department.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would certainly like to make a motion on this issue. My motion would be that we direct the customer service department, the county manager, to revise the policy back to the 2-month allowance before water is cut off. And if the customer comes in and pay our bill, they would have to pay up all the arrears. In order to prevent developing uncollected arrears.
I would second that motion.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am. Maybe continue to the podium, the microphone.
You stand about you, Diane.
The share.
Yes, we have spent some time on this over 2.5 years, or maybe even plus, whatever. And I'm staring with this number 59. 59 situations, 59 households that are driving things. And that's not necessarily the way everything should work. But we do have to take into consider, they are citizens as well. The question I have for you, Tim, is which method is going to cost the county less in dollars running out to turn off what is something that's going to drive my vote? In other words, what scenario causes us less manpower and dollars?
These numbers are going to be slightly rounded. And now, with the departments, the way it's split between customer service and us, but we still correspond and work together. Prior to all the changes, when it was bi-monthly cutoff, we had got those numbers down, and this was prior to splitting the billing. We had got those numbers down to roughly, on average, 70 a cutoff. And it was one cycle was cut off this month, one cycle was cut off this month. The way the billing fell, you had one group that was cut off countywide just because of the way they had let their bills lapse. So you were looking at roughly countywide 70 and right at 140 cut off in 2 months, which was countywide. That number, when we switched over, of course, spiked tremendously because it was a new billing cycle. Nobody paid attention to it. It was changed. That has come back down, and we've seen a fluctuation between only having 40-some cut off in 1 month up to 160-some for that 1 month. From a production standpoint, it really doesn't, I don't really have a dog in this fight anymore. Because customer service has the meter readers that do lockouts and meter readers. And when they're inflated, we still as a team come together and help them. This month we help do lockouts. Month of February we help read meters because of inclement weather and just a short month regardless. It's not that much difference. You add robocalls, that spikes a little bit of extra expense. I'm not sure what does the robocall cost per call.
8 cents a call. 8 cents for a completed call.
So, and you're talking about
But we get a return on
300,
that.
and then you get your return by folks coming in and paying the bills. It keeps them out of arrears, and typically they go out after the 10% late penalty, so you're absorbing that within the 10% late penalties. So, to be honest with you, with every change that's made, you're going to have a fluctuation and a spike in what it's going to cost us in productivity to make it happen.
The adjustment period.
Yes. The system, of course, you know, I wasn't very favorable of how things would change. But we've all kind of come back together and we're starting to find a flow to make it work. You go back and change it again, I'm scared that flow is going to be disrupted. And if you go back to doing lockouts for being 2 months delinquent, then you're looking at, you just took the reason out that we hired a couple of new staff members to help read meters and do lockouts. So then you're overstaffed at the demand. If that helps.
We had customers that had said Daphne's been here for 8 years until we went to the 1 month implementation policy, had never fully paid their water bill.
Unless they goofed up and
And
they
got
passed
cut
that
off.
cutoff, they
Right.
got cut.
What was gonna help are the people who are not repeat offenders. And 90% of our lineups are repeat offenders.
And that,
We couldn't hear what she said.
well, she said the only people any of this change will help are the ones that have a slip up accidentally here and there. 85 to 90% that was like this from the time I took over until now still are repeat offenders. They're habitual, pay late, hit the cutoff list, and it's just same names you see over and over. This past month when we switched over with the AR box, we saw names that we had never seen up there before. And that was mainly because of the billing cycle and the bills going and getting lost in transit. And besides that, the ones that you hit occasionally that just goofed up, forgot, they are very humble and apologetic and embarrassed. And they have, the new customer service have implemented things to help alleviate that. The 12-month policy, if you haven't been late or cut off in 12 months, they give you a call, don't cut you off, and make extra efforts to get up with you. Once they can get folks in to give us an active number within the customer service department, you're going to see everything start gradually easing out. So, I mean, what has been molded and shaped to now, the way everybody's come back and started working together to make it work, it has the potential to grow and make things a little bit cheaper in the long run and a lot smoother operation-wise.
Just a general question to anyone, what was the logic to start with to go from 2 months to a 1 month cutoff?
Arrears, the amount of money left out in arrears. past due payments that they were always leaving hanging. And right there towards the end, we had made the changes to make folks, when it hit the cutoff list, you had to pay your balance in full in order to stay off of that cutoff list or disconnect list.
And I think some of the headache there for the constituent was that, you know, they would struggle to pay that 1 month bill. They would get in arrears and then really struggle to get caught up. And that made the numbers spike.
Well, a while ago, you were comparing, Mr. Jordan was comparing your power bill and how they cut off. You're talking about a $300 or $400 bill versus a $33, $35 bill. So it's a minimal bill, and most folks admit, the girls in the office will tell you they admit, I don't even open my bill. So, I mean, at some point, we have to stop taking accountability for customers' neglect on their responsibilities and just write our policy, stick to our policy, and operate by our policy and feed everybody from the same spoon.
Well, I agree with that. But the point is that, you know, when you've got citizens that have had their work cut off, and they report to the commissioners that they tried to come in and pay their payments, and checks was not accepted or whatever, I don't know all the details. But, you know, when you cut off after 1 month, you're making sure that you're going to get their payment. But there's some people out there that really needs that extra time. You know, whether they've lost a bill or whatever. I've had situations where with the tax department one time, I got a notice for a tax bill, took it out of the mailbox, put it on this car seat, and guess what? It fell down into the side of the car compartments in the door. And I got a letter several months later from the tax department that I need to get in there and pay that bill. And lo and behold, you know, I found it later on. I hadn't even seen it. So that, you know, while 90% of repeat offenders, you've always got that situation where a person needed that time. And to go to 2 months, to go back from 1 month to 2 months, it's going to reduce, from what you're saying, it's going to reduce personnel, I believe. And it should help the citizens of the county. It's not going to take away any responsibilities. I don't see where this will build up any more arrears for us, because we're going to collect all the money. We're going to have stipulations there to collect all the money. When you come to pay your bills, you're not going to just pay the money in arrears and all of a sudden I'm going to leave something out there. You've got to pay it all up. And, you know, we need to accommodate. We need to make accommodations to be as customers friendly as we possibly can.
And I understand that, but out of the 12,196 residents we have, you're talking about 10% of, say on average, 60 people. So you're talking about 6 people a month. And back to what you said, customers come to you saying they wouldn't accept a check. That was a policy that was implemented that any time any accounts go in arrears, you cannot take personal checks to prevent all of the bad checks that were being written. Just that knowing money went in the account or knowing that they just wanted to keep the order on, and it'd take us 2 or 3 days to realize we were clear that the checks weren't good. That was a policy that was implemented by the commissioners to prevent that aspect of it. So that's part of the argument when people come and say they wouldn't take my check at the counter. You know, that we have gone to a cash money order policy to prevent folks from writing bad checks, just to prolong the inevitable.
And that's only for people who are in arrears. That
is correct, which is what we're discussing now, is folks that's on the disconnect.
Yes. And you always make mistakes, but if we make a mistake and we've had a clean record, it's still, you don't get your water cut off, it rolls over.
You
So I mean, you can make a mistake and still not have your water cut off.
And it's with your taxes that you're just talking about. I fully understand what you're talking about. I just got a call from my local tax office yesterday about an account arrears. And it's my fault. I paid my late penalty. It's my fault I misplaced it and I didn't come in and pay it. I can't hold the county accountable or the tax office accountable. I do though. And I guess, I mean, I have to pay my water bill, I have to pay my taxes, I have to pay everything just like everybody else. And I really don't expect somebody to treat me any different because I made a mistake. It was my fault. And that's just the way I look at it. That's the way we've kind of approached, well, I did previously, and the way I think it's continued to be approached with customer service policy, to try to be as fair, go above and beyond. But at some point, you have to stick to your rules and regulations, what they put together, what the commissioners have approved, and you kind of have to hold fast to what's been decided that's fair for everyone. And it struggles, and the girls at the counter and myself catch it the most. With every change that's being made within the water department, the customer service department, you know, we're the faces that's getting hit with it on a daily basis. And folks don't like change, but if it's changing and they're better and you stay with it, that will become the norm. In the last 2.5 years, nothing has been left stable enough to become the new norm. Now, by the time everybody's starting to get accustomed, it changes again. And then that throws feathers in the air and it ruffles everybody's feathers and they start calming down, okay, they're getting used to it, and then another change comes. And that stability, and I think is what would help this go a lot smoother versus going in and changing again.
Okay, any other comments?
Well, just a question, what works best for you, for y'all? But Diane, yourself.
1 month. We have been in agreement this since, in fact, this was a suggestion by the customer service staff to consolidate and go to 1 month. That everybody's on the same side throughout the county.
That pay for 2 months, they would let themselves go another 2 months before they pay.
That's right. The people would come up, if they had their water cut off and they had to bring everything up to date, you didn't see them next month. They let everything get in the rears again. And when they came to the window, I want to pay what's late. They never paid the 2 month. I want to pay what's late. Carry 1 month over.
And just to throw out another pro and con with the 2 months, 1 month. 1 month works the best to have it all complete, everything out of arrears for customer service. And with the meter readers and staff we have now, that works great from a production standpoint for us in the distribution and treatment side of things. If you go to 2 months, you can't have a mixture of both. If you go to everything due in 1 month, but you can still carry over 2 months and be disconnected, you're going to be overstaffed. If you try to switch it and cram everything into 1 month like we're doing now, and take away the additional meter reader staff, there's no way that a smaller staff can handle both aspects of meter reading lockouts and distribution leak repair meter installs. So it's going to have to be all in one or all in the other, or you're going to start playing with staffing issues where you're going to be overstaffed or understaffed.
Finally, now we got the staff when the weather was good, that his department was out there replacing how many hundred meters?
That was this past fall before weather broke on us. We managed to change out right at 400 broken cash registers.
Yeah, cash registers.
I mean, that's what they meters are referred to as cash registers in the enterprise world.
Okay. Any other comments? A motion has been made, but is there a second? Oh, it's a second, I'm sorry, Mr. Freeman, I didn't mean to. Okay, the motion before us is to make a motion to change our water collection policy, that to give people 2 months time, a 2 month time frame to pay bills without being cut off, and they must pay the entire bill at that point in time. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
No, aye. Okay, motion, it stays as it is. Motion failed.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your service, and it's not easy, because I've been up there when the people have been up there, but most of them, I'll say, were very humble. They are. They were very humble. They said, thank you for sending me the robocall. So. Okay, moving on. Now I can move on to new business. We've done the child. Okay, now we need to go to the nursing home advisory committee.
Already done that.
No, we got 3 or 4. It's in your, with your tax thing. Mr. Jordan. We need to reappoint. It has been recommended that we reappoint Vivian Hathaway and Faye Darden Smith to the Gates County Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee. Do I have a motion?
I'll move we accept this recommendation.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to approve Vivian Hathaway and Faye Darden Smith to be reappointed to the Gates County Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so they are reappointed. Okay, we also need to appoint to the Sunbury Volunteer Fire Department Firefighters Relief Fund Board, and they make a recommendation to appoint Daniel Bright to a 1-year term and John Taylor Kitchell to a 2-year term. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor of reappointing, to appoint Daniel Bright to a 1-year term and John Taylor Kitchell to a 2-year term to the Sunbury Volunteer Fire Department Relief Fund Board, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? They are appointed. Okay. We have a resolution in front of you to restore the allocation of lottery funds to the counties for school capital needs. If you recall, when the lottery was placed before the voters, it was named the Educational Lottery, and since then they have been taken away from the funds. What is the pleasure of the board?
Chairman, I make a motion that we approve submission of the resolution allocating lottery funds to the counties for school capital needs.
Okay, motion's been made.
Second.
Second, that we support the resolution restoring the allocation of lottery funds to counties for school capital needs. All those in favor?
Could we get a discussion?
Oh, yeah, discussion.
In the last paragraph where it says, be it further resolved that the Gates County Board of Commissioners respectfully request the North Carolina General Assembly to increase county lottery funds from 20.8% of the proceeds to 27 for 2015, that's be corrected, 15 to 16.
Okay, that's, and then to full restoration.
4% to a 4%.
Madam Chairman, something going to require signature today.
Can we get a clean copy to sign, Melissa, before we leave? Okay. Make it easy on everybody to sign. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, is there, we have retyped the letter from the Historical Society, the courthouse, to include a paragraph like that. You were Certainly, it's still a work in progress. If you take a chance to read over that and see what else, is there something else that we need to put in?
Madam Chairman, I would like to see in each reference where we say old courthouse to replace that with 1832 courthouse.
Or how about the historic courthouse?
Well, either way.
Yeah, because everybody might not know what the historic, okay,
And remove the word old.
yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yeah.
The word open.
Yes.
Seems appropriate in every place I see it too. I don't know if we need a vote, but I'm in favor of that suggestion.
I don't think we need a vote, but this is kind of trying to make sure that what was indicted is clear.
I wonder what the cost would be if we had this sent out on a piece of paper that had a picture of the courthouse behind the print.
It's a watermark.
Might be a- And I would say the historic courthouse fund instead of the old courthouse fund.
I think that's what I intended, just to remove the word old from.
Everywhere, okay. I think the letter has been improved about Thad Ewer, because Thad Ewer has a connection across the state, that the hook.
Should we entertain the thought, where we reflect where old was and we've deleted that to put historic courthouse?
That's what Felton's
Didn't know if that was real or not.
Well, it's the original report of the historic, I guess, in Nashville, okay. I'll check your email back again. The only thing, I don't know how you fit it in there. I think it's the only three Federalist style courthouses still in existence in the state of North Carolina, Iowa's being one. But I don't know how you get, I mean, you can get it too wordy. Give me a few minutes, I might can think of them.
Sounds good. I'll look it up later.
One of them will have.
No, it might be Northampton. It would have to be on the eastern part.
I think it's going to have to be
Because all of those are kind of the same style. Okay, well, we'll revamp of that. Okay, comments, citizens' comments.
But before we do business, can
Yeah.
I bring up one
Yes.
item and, for the commissioners to look at some citizens from the Boontown area in regards to Parker Lane, which is Rural Paved Road 1205. Came to me and discussed the fact that that road is so narrow that emergency vehicles are not able to get down and turn around and or get out, meaning ambulance service as well as fire department, but also DOT was unable to get down and get out during the most recent snow. So I wonder if the commissioners could take a look at it to see if, and maybe our county manager can contact DOT to see if they want to widen that road to 30 feet.
Is it a public road?
It is.
Parker
It's
Lane?
probably, I'm going to say maybe 30-some residents on that road.
Highway
Parker Lane,
Parker Lane, and it was what number?
1205, Rural Paved Road, 1205. It's located off of Byron Road.
Acts like a little loop road, so.
And dead ends.
Right.
And so there's nowhere for any service to turn around down that way.
Well, that is certainly something, I mean, from a safety point and I'll certainly, and
Just set something out from the DOT about all the roads that's going to be worked this year.
Willington is going to be, then it's going to be new shoulders because they're widening. So, I don't know what the process is, but can we send a letter to DOT or?
I'll talk to Gretchen.
Yeah.
She's not the one I talked to, she'll tell me who I need to talk
We
to.
need to talk to. But it's things like that we need to know.
Jerry Boone,
Things like that we need to know.
is that the Boone, the road that Jerry Boone lives on?
I don't know the residents on there, Commissioner. I went down and counted the houses and the automobiles and took a look at it to make sure that before I brought it to you.
Okay. Well, that is, and the county manager is going to contact Gretchen Barron and see what the process is, or procedure that we might need to follow. Okay, close the comments section. No citizens have signed up. Commissioners' comments. Well, I think we started all again last time. We'll start with me this time. Once again, I'd like to thank you for coming, those of you who did come. Those of you who are watching on the video, you've been an interesting session today, a very informative one. We wish you well, and hopefully the weather will improve and spring will finally arrive.
Well, we're here to discuss the concerns of the citizens, and we certainly had some of those today. And I want to encourage people to not sit at home with a burning question. Contact your county commissioners, your county manager, and we'll be glad to discuss your situation here in this open session and hopefully come to some agreement that is good for all of our citizens. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say that I appreciate the opportunity to serve all of the citizens in Gates County. And I want the citizens to know that one citizen is important to me in Gates County. All of our citizens, all 11,000, 12,000, or whatever the number is, they are important. But if one only comes to me, you are important. And I will do what I can to help the citizens of the county. I'm trying to do that. And I appreciate your confidence in me.
It's been a very good session today. We've had a debate on several subjects, and I think very positive debates, and that's always good. And it's always good to have participation. We didn't have a whole lot of outside participation today, but we encourage you to come, and as Mr. Owens said, to contact any of us if you have your concerns, no matter how small or how large, and we will see that it gets discussed. Thank you.
Again, we appreciate your input. We appreciate your contacting those of us as commissioners. We do look at the issues. We do bring them forward to each other as commissioners and to our county manager and to the government and look at it from those standpoints. Again, thank you for allowing us to serve you, and everyone, all of these commissioners have each citizen in their mind as they vote and as they look at things. Thank you.
Okay, and I will take a short recess. You go to recess before we go to closed session. I think we all need to.
You want to close that?
You want to go to closed session first?
Cameraman.
Okay, we'll go in closed session. Okay. I need a motion to go in closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. I need to read that. Okay. In pursuant with North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11, we are going into closed session involving legal, economic development, and real estate, and personnel. All those in favor of going into closed session?
So moved.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Now we'll take a short recess. Okay, I would entertain a motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
A motion has been made and second. Any discussion? All those in favor of coming out of closed session, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, we're out of closed session, but before we go finish up for the day, we're going to take a short recess. Okay, our first motion to come before us is that the county manager to contact the CDBG administration to discuss issues and concerns about the recipient of a CDBG grant. Do I have a...
And instruct county attorney to
Oh.
respond to recipients.
And to instruct the county attorney to respond to the concerns at the hearing from the county manager.
So moved. Second.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. The second motion, to move forward with the contingency for county manager getting an option signed for a land purchase.
I make a motion to authorize NESCO to move forward
Okay. To authorize.
upon, contingent upon the county attorney getting the option signed.
Okay. You've heard the motion that Mr. Jordan just made very eloquently. Do I entertain you made the motion, do I entertain a second?
Yes, ma'am, second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Third motion to extend the tax consultant's contract to June 1st, 2015.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
A second has been made. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? This passed. And the final motion, to instruct the county manager to respond to former employees' correspondence.
So moved.
Second.
As discussed in closed session.
Okay, as discussed in closed session.
So moved.
Did I hear a second?
Second. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes. Okay, is there anything else? If not, we will recess until March the 16th at 7 o'clock, but remember we have a 6 o'clock economic development meeting. And we also have our photo made again since we broke the camera.
So moved.
Okay. So, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? It's nice always being with y'all.